Model 3, Lecture 4, Questioning Techniques. Questioning is a key to gaining more information, and without it, interpersonal communications can fail. Questioning is fundamental to successful communications. We all ask and are asked questions when engaged in conversation. Asking questions constantly throughout the negotiation not only helps you to keep track of the discussion, but also gives you time to consider that what has been said without committing yourself to an immediate answer. Why ask questions? To obtain information. The primary function of a question is to gain information, to help maintain control of the conversation. While you are asking questions, you are in control of the conversation. Assertive people are more likely to take control of conversations, attempting to gain the information they need through questioning. To express an interest in the other person. Questioning allows us to find out more about the responders. This can be unuseful when attempting to build rapport and show empathy, or to simply get to know the other person better. To clarify a point, questions are commonly used in a communication to clarify something that the speaker has said. Questions used as clarification are essential in reducing misunderstanding and therefore more effective communication. To explore the personality and or difficulties the other person may have. Questions are used to explore the feelings, beliefs, opinions, ideas, and attitudes of the person being questioned. They can also be used to better understanding problems that another person may be experiencing. To test knowledge. Questions are used in all sorts of quiz, test, and exam situations to ascertain the knowledge of the respondents. Encourage further thought. Questions may be used to encourage people to think about something more deeply. Questions can be worked in such a way as to get the person to think about a topic in a new way. In group situation, questioning in group situation can be very useful for a number of reasons. To include all members of the group, to encourage more discussion of a point, to keep attention by asking questions without advance warning. These examples can be easily related to a classroom of school children. How to ask questions? Being an effective communicator has a lot to do with how questions are asked. Once the purpose of the question has been established, you should ask yourself a number of questions. What type of questions should be asked? Closed questions, which can be answered yes or no, may not stimulate much discussion, but they can be an effective way of setting boundaries of discussion. Closed questions should be reserved for quickly checking facts. The dangers of using closed questions is that you might get more no answers than you would like. To avoid an immediate negative response, you may rephrase the open questions into: Are you satisfied with? We seem not to be making progress. Are you happy with? Effective negotiations will tend to move from open questions at the beginning of the negotiation to closed questions: who, what, where, towards the end. At the beginning, they need to find out about the opponent's overall position before getting down to details, but they don't want to commit to anything at this stage. At the end of negotiations, they are trying to come to agreement to each of the variables in the negotiation and need to be sure both sides are quite clear about what the other side has agreed to. Open questions elicit more information and generate freer discussion. Is the question appropriate to the person or group? And there's the right time to ask the question. When actually asking questions, especially in more formal setting, some of the mechanics to take into account include being structured. In certain situations, for example, if you are conducting a research project or you work in a profession that requires the recording of information, it may be necessary to ask large numbers of questions. In such cases, it is usually a good idea to inform the respondent of this before you start, by giving some background information and reasoning behind your motive of asking questions. By doing this, the respondent becomes more open to questions and why it is acceptable for you to be asking them. They also know it can accept the type of questions that are likely to come up. For example, in order to help you with your insurance claim, it will be necessary for me to ask you about your car, your health, and the circumstances that led up to the accident. In most cases, the interaction between questioner and respondent will run more smoothly if there is some structure to the exchange. Use silence. Using silence is a powerful way to delivering questions. As with the other interpersonal interactions, pauses in speech can help to emphasize points and give all parts of new moments together their thoughts before continuing. A pause of at least 3 seconds before a question can help you to emphasize the importance of what is being asked. A 3-second pause directly after a question can also be advantageous. It can prevent the questioner from immediately asking another question and indicates to the respondent that a response is required. Pausing again after an initial response can encourage the respondent to continue with the answer in more detail. Pauses of less than 3 seconds have been proven to be less effective. Encouraging participation. In group situations, leaders often want to involve as many people as possible in the discussion or debate. This can be at least partially achieved by asking questions of each individual member of the group. One way that the benefits of the technique can be maximized is to redirect a question from an active member of the group to one who is less active or less inclined to answer without a direct opportunity. Care should be taken in such situation, as some people find speaking in a group situation very stressful and can easily be made to feel uncomfortable, embarrassed, or awkward. How do I expect the respondent will reply? Section 3. Type of questions. Rapport building questions. These are questions sales people ask to find out more about the prospect characters, hobbies, likes and dislikes, so as to find a common interest he has with his prospect to build a relationship with him. They also help in displaying the salesperson's genuine interest in him and what he is doing. Example 1. Wow, that's a fine fishing rod that you have over there. Do you like fishing? How often do you go fishing? Another example. Hey, there are 2 beautiful kids on the photo. Are they your kids? How old are they? Sales-related questions. Sales-related questions allow a salesperson to ask about the prospect's previous purchases of similar products, be them from his company or competitors, which can help him to gain insights into his prospects' buying behavior and habits. A salesperson can also be asking questions about details with regard to this particular sale he is dealing with, so as to understand better his prospect's requirement and budget. Example 1. I see that you had purchased 2 policies from us before. Would you mind sharing with me what are your experiences with them? Was it good or bad? Example 2. What are the things you are looking for? Which are more important to you? Example 3. What is your budget for this project? Clarification questions. These questions seek to clear out any doubts that might be around, so as to avoid any potential confusions or misunderstandings that could occur. They can also be used to extract out more information from your prospect should be replied a brief and unclear answer. Sometimes these questions are also asked reiterate some important points that a salesperson wishes to emphasize. Example 1. Help me understand. Could you elaborate more on? Example 2. Could you give an example? Objection-seeking questions. These questions are used to salespeople to find out the exact and true concerns that a prospect might have that are holding them back from the committing to the purchase. Only after the true objections are identified and addressed can the salesperson move this prospect a step closer to close the deal. 1. Do you have any concerns so far? May I know what is holding you back? If money is not an issue here, would you? Ask for actions questions. Sometimes when a prospect is hesitant and not ready to commit, it is always helpful for a salesperson to nudge or encourage this prospect a little bit by asking some ask for action questions. These questions are asked to propose for a close and go ahead with the project implementation, or at least to fix up an appointment for the next discussion to sort out further details. Example 1. Do you have any further concerns? If not, I suggest that we move on to example 2. How since we have this sorted out, why don't we? Example 3. Would you agree that? Thank you for your attention.